What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Star Wars Breaking Episodes. Again, that's music there by Mia. She's amazing. So you guys, I highly suggest that you guys go check her out. We promote her a lot. But before we begin, a couple of things, guys. One is that I am, Uncensored Nerds is on Patreon now too as well. So please, if you have time, go ahead and check out my Patreon there. It's uncensored. It's patreon.com/uncensored nerds. You guys are going to get a lot of. I made some tiers in there. I made sure the tiers actually make sense, that it doesn't benefit just me. I'm not just taking your money, but you guys are getting something in return on that too as well. Especially the higher tier. I don't know if you checked out the higher tier yet, Nate, but if you check out the higher tier, one of the perks in there is that you guys can get to watch us record this show, Star Wars Breaking Episodes. You guys can sit in the background, kind of like a producer, and you can see what's going on, and you can even ask us some questions and all that stuff. So that's one of the perks in there. And also one of the perks is that you guys are able to do the exact same thing on our new show. Okay, our new show. And Nate hasn't seen this yet. I haven't told him yet. So our new show is essentially this right here. If you guys are going to be watching this on Plot Holes Pro, youtube.com/Plot Holes Pro, you guys will see it. But for everyone who's just listening to it now, our new show is called Ahsoka Breaking the Jedi. It's going to be our weekly show on Ahsoka Tano. That's going to be premiering next week. And we're going to be breaking down each and every episode weekly on Ahsoka Tano. And that you will be able to actually stand in the background too as well on a weekly basis. And you guys can see us break down Ahsoka Tano on it too as well. Again, just go ahead and go to my Patreon there, patreon.com/uncensored nerds. But how do you like it? How do you like the setup there, Nate?
I think it's very Ahsoka. No, I like it. I like it. I really like it.
You sounded Russian there for a second. It's okay.
It's okay. It's very Ahsoka. You know,
It's okay, man. It's okay. I
give
guess
me
it's
some vodka. We'll be all right. No, I like
so
it.
so essentially, like I said before, guys, what's going to happen is that we're going to take a break for 7 weeks on breaking episodes for Star Wars, and we're going to be doing Ahsoka Tano, Breaking the Jedi, on our week. It's going to be a weekly podcast. It's going to be an after show. I wanted to do it directly after the episode drops. Okay, that's just me because I'm on the West Coast. I have the benefit of time with me. Okay. When it drops in the East Coast at 12 a.m., it's only 9 p.m. here. So technically, I get the first crack at it. But Nate is in Miami. So that's gonna be 12 a.m. on his time. And unfortunately, Nate doesn't have the type of podcast lifestyle that I have where this is my daily job, this is my full-time job. He does have a real job. he does have
I have a real job. Yeah,
he has a big boy job. He's not unlike me. I do podcasts all the time. He has a real job, so he has to wake up early in the morning. So he made a case in saying that, hey, I can't do that. I have to watch it on Wednesday, and then we can do the breakdown and then release it on Thursday. I said, okay, that's fine then. That's fine with me, I guess. I have to accommodate to the real people, I guess.
Well, don't discount yourself. You have a real job. It's all right. It's a real thing. Maybe 10 years ago, I'd be like, what's call that a job?
Actually, 7 years ago, people thought this was kind of crazy because if you remember on the store, I did have a podcast. It was in 2017, right? I was like the first one who did all those stuff, like weekly Wednesdays and all that. But I was like the first one that did all those. But anyways, all right. So today, this is something that Nate also doesn't know. Today, we're going to be breaking down Solo, a Star Wars story.
Well, I knew that.
Yeah, he knew that. Make sure the mic is close to your mouth again. 6 inches. Remember, 6 inches. Three fingers, man. 3 fingers. Anyways, so we're gonna breaking down Solo, but this is something that Nate doesn't know, and what he doesn't know is that I forgot that we were supposed to do Solo and I skipped over to Rogue One. So I didn't see Solo. I didn't rewatch Solo. So everything I'm gonna go, I have to go by with my memory.
And how good is that, Tim?
Well, 7 weeks from now, I'll be ready for. I'll be 7 weeks from now. I'll be ready for Rogue One.
But then, how good will your memory be then?
But on the plus side, I found my hat. I've been looking for this hat for a while, man. But I found my hat.
It's a nice hat.
Yeah, it's a really nice hat. I've had this hat for a long time. If you actually saw my old videos, I had this hat. It's just I couldn't find it. But yeah, I finally found my hat. So now I have a hat to wear on our ventures in here. But so let's do Solo. I'm gonna work off by my memory, and Nate's gonna work off by he literally just rewatched it. All right, so with Solo, let's start off on the elephant in the room in this. Why does everybody fucking hate this movie? It's not bad. I don't understand why. And also, Emilia Clarke has the worst luck when it comes to post Game of Thrones. She would be attached to like the biggest names in like TV,
Everything.
movie, and everything, and everybody hated it. Like Secret Invasion, Solo, everybody fucking hated it. But her character is always the most important person on each franchise. Like if you remember, if you some of you guys don't read comic books a lot, but if you read comic books, her character in Solo, Nate, character name.
Wow. Okay. I was about to say Emilia Clarke. Wow.
You're the one who just watched this.
I know her name too, and I just
Oh my
like,
god.
oh my god, this
Jeez.
is bad. This is bad.
This is horrible because this is literally a blind leading the blind at this point right now. I haven't rewatched it, which defies the whole purpose of our podcast that we're supposed to rewatch this whole thing. You're the one who rewatched it, but then you forgot the name of the character Emilia Clarke in there. You're googling it right now, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I was trying not to go off of memory, but now I'm gonna.
All you have to do is just
memory.
Google her name, Emilia Clarke, right? Emilia Clarke. I know some of you guys already said it.
It's a very simple name too. It really is. That's why I'm blanking out on it. I'm like, whoa.
I'm pretty sure some of you guys have already said it while listening to this podcast. So gotta.
I feel so bad right now.
Yeah, you should, man. You should. You're the one. Okay, so
give me the first letter and I'll get it.
It's Q.
Kira. There we go.
There you go.
See, I told you I just knew.
The funny thing is I kind of knew it already. I had it I had it on my screen in here. I had it ready.
That's right. I kind of knew too. I kind of knew too.
No, I had it on the screen. I had it on the screen.
No, me too. I had it in my head. Yeah.
So anyways, so she had she had her main character Akira, and then she had her main character in Secret Invasion name.
Starts with a G. Gaia.
There you go.
See?
Hey. All right, so
and it's messed up how I remember that one.
she has the worst luck when it comes to just fanfare, when it comes to these things post Game of Thrones, which kind of sucks because Kira is like the biggest character, one of the biggest villains when it comes to comic books, right? So there's the latest comic books in Marvel Star Wars that came out. It's called Crimson
Reign,
and she was like one of the main characters in there too as well.
Yeah.
Right. And then Secret Invasion, she became like the most powerful fucking MCU character there is, and it got panned out.
Makes me wonder how they're gonna handle that because technically she's broken.
Well, I mean, like it's kind of weird because like everyone in the comic book world, it's funny though because I love the way that the media said that she's the most powerful character in the MCU, which is fantastic that they said that. Is because when you read comic books, every Super Scroll has that power. So essentially, it's like, at least they said it right,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, no, she had like one of the worst luck in there. But this movie, I don't understand why people hate this movie. Like,
It's
why?
it's not the movie itself. It's the hate people got for. All right, so the reason why people hated Solo is not because Solo is a bad movie. It's because of the sequel movies. They came out with what? Episode 7, which people were like 75 good, 25% bad on. Then they came
Right.
out with Rogue One, and that one was received as basically a really good movie, but then I
Mhm.
know a lot of people who didn't like it, which me, I loved it.
Right.
But
So you're telling me that it's just guilty by association?
yes, and then when you get to episode 8, everybody that really split Star Wars down the middle. And that after that movie, people were like, "Oh, Star Wars is going to crap again. It's all Disney's fault. We're gonna boycott it, and the next movie we're
Right.
not gonna watch," which ended up being Solo.
Which is kind of weird because when from what I remember, Solo, I actually like Solo, right? I actually liked
Yeah,
it. I think that um Childish Gambino's acting
Lando.
was a little bit overacted. Well, I know it's Lando, but I'm saying the actor itself, his acting is a little bit overacting.
Oh
A
no, I
little.
liked it. I thought he perfectly captured Lando, but that's another thing. I know a lot of people, but not a lot. I know a few people personally that didn't want to see the movie just because of him.
Well, no, it's not that he's an actor. He knows how to act. I mean, like, he was perfect for the role. In my opinion, he was perfect for the role. But what I'm saying is that um his acting, his portrayal of Lando was a little bit overacting because he made it seem like he's a little bit more flamboyant than he actually is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
it,
Yeah, I
it
see that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So he made him a little bit more flamboyant than he actually is. Lando is not flamboyant. He's just very he's just
Suave.
yeah, he just had that suave to him, right? So his suave was more flamboyant instead of just kind of like playing it cool. I
Yeah.
understand there's some people who has that charisma and some people that don't. And there's some people who don't have that charisma. They try to emanate that charisma and it doesn't work. And I get that, right? But his acting was just a little bit overacting on that part.
Yeah.
Now, for Solo, on the other hand, I also thought that was a little bit overacting, but not a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because because tell me if you agree on this. Lando and Solo are two of the hardest characters to play. The reason why they're hard to play is because the actors who played them were not playing a character, they were themselves. Does that make sense? Like, Harrison Ford did not play, oh, I'm going to be Solo. No, Harrison Ford played Harrison Ford. It's just him acting. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think he had anything um to have a reference on. Do you know what I
Like,
mean?
yeah, there's very because Harrison Ford, if you put him side by side as normal Harrison Ford and Han Solo, you kind of see them as the same kind of uh character, like
Yeah.
person, like leave me alone.
Yeah, like, if you see Indiana Jones, which I'm pretty sure everybody has, if you take Indiana Jones and if you take Solo, you can literally mismatch the both characters and it will be the exact same thing,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Harrison Ford is not a very diverse character actor. It's just that he played the character the way that he feels how the character should be,
yeah,
right? Like, everybody knew that when in episode 4, when Leia said I love you and he says I know, everybody knows that infamous story that says, hey, I don't think I should say I love you too, because that's not what I would say,
yeah.
right? He never said that's what Solo would say. I think he said that's not what I would say.
Well, no, there's a whole story about that. Basically,
Yeah.
we could save it for later, but long
Mhm.
story short, they couldn't figure out the scene, and he just said "fuck
I
it,"
know.
and then threw out a line,
Yeah.
and then they went with it.
Yeah, so essentially it's those two characters are hard to play because those characters were played by actors who were just playing themselves. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard because there weren't any reference for Lando. There's no reference for Solo. So when this came out, I felt like these two actors have a fucking Mount Everest of a challenge to play,
Yeah, because they
right?
have to act like these two people that everybody loves and everybody has a certain idea of how they should be in their head.
Mhm. Exactly. There's only one Harrison Ford, and there's only one
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams, right? There's only one. So it's kind of hard. So this sequel was already set up to be a failure at that point. Not because the writing was horrible. I don't think it was horrible because it was I don't think Ron Howard wrote it. But he did oversee it, you know.
Yeah, he
So
directed it.
yeah, he directed it. Yeah, that's why he oversaw it. So this was just set up to fail because people already have a certain perspective on how these characters should be played. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's why the sequel kind of failed. It's not because of Ron Howard, it's not because of
Well,
the
prequel
writing or
technically.
anything. I think it's just because it's just hard. People have a certain mind frame at it. So I mean, as a hardcore Star Wars fan, right? Did you like the movie?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'd probably
Mhm.
give it like a 8 out of 10, in my opinion.
8 out of 10. So to me, as a casual fan, I would give it a 9, just because it actually linked a lot of the references throughout the original trilogy,
Yep, it did.
and it linked up a lot and also explained a lot.
It did.
Like for the longest time, nobody knew what parcels was. Like
Parsecs.
parsecs. Sorry, parsecs. A lot of people knew, like they had an idea what it is. People fling it around like it's a casual word that you say all the time. When you kind of hear it, you kind of had just kind of think maybe it's this kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it's distance.
It's distance, right? But for some people, they think it's speed.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, right? So some people thought it was speed. Some people knew it was distance. The hardcore ones know it's distance. But when the casual person says it, you know, the hardcore person saying, "Oh, he's talking about distance," but the casual person said, thinking, "Well, I'm thinking speed." So it's one of those words that it's just understood when you say it, but the meaning in the person's mind is kind of different. So with this movie, it's nice that they actually show you what parsecs is,
Yeah.
right? So now everybody knew what it was. I still don't think that some people don't know what it is, but you know, when they're doing the whole what was it, 13 or 14 parsecs?
12 parsecs, I believe.
It was 12 parsecs. Um
Well, I think really it was like closer to 13, 14, but
yeah,
he says in the movie he rounded it down.
yeah. So when they
Just
got
to sound cooler.
when they got to that part, I still don't think some casual Star Wars fans knew what
Yeah.
it was. Like I just have that feeling. I'm like, I don't think you guys still know what it was, even though they already explained it, right?
But I want to bring this up to you.
Uh-huh.
They took a whole movie
Yeah.
to explain a whole backstory. So back to your Django Fett.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you got to give a whole movie to explain something. All right.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
So I mean, it's kind of nice. And then they always Solo and Lando always reference it. They always reference it from the original trilogy. Oh, this is my ship and all that
Yeah.
stuff. He won it on the gamble and all that stuff. Now you actually got to see that whole scene there on like how he actually won it and all that stuff. So I think that this movie was just it was just to show you everything that they've been saying in the original trilogy. Is like, here it is.
Yes.
So I don't know why people hated it. So
Yeah,
I
like
still
I
don't
said, it
understand.
was more or less. And the other thing too was the fact that you casted you recasted Han Solo and Lando.
You can't really cast
I
like you
mean, I
can't
know,
really,
but the thing is,
I mean,
like,
come
people
on,
are like,
man.
people would have rather not see the movie than to have somebody else play the characters.
Like here, like
Which
if
is
you
funny
see,
because if you would have had the movie made now, they would have just de-aged both Billy D. Williams and
like
Harrison Ford.
not even that, because if you've seen the Indiana Jones, the latest Indiana Jones, they had to like CGI some of the action scenes. You know, Harrison Ford can't do all the things that he did before. Even during that time, he was moving slower than usual. Yes, he's fucking tall and he's you know, lanky and all that stuff, so he moves awkwardly, but still it's still moving awkwardly. He's gonna move awkwardly. So there's no way that you wanna say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna cast Billy again, and then Harrison Ford and all that stuff, and you know it'll be all right. We'll just de-age him." It doesn't work that way. If you watch the that Scorsese movie in Netflix, The Irishman, I think it is.
I've never seen it.
Oh man, you gotta watch it, man. Just a side note, you gotta watch fucking The Irishman. It's amazing.
I mean, why? I just gotta look in the mirror.
It's it's De Niro. Oh, hold on.
What was that for?
That's for your joke there. So you're like, why? I just gotta look in the mirror. I understand you're Irish, but okay. So, you know, if you watch that movie, you'll see that they de-aged everybody, and that during that time, during the filming of that movie, that was like something revolutionized, right? Because they didn't use AI or anything; they just used traditional. And you'll see that De Niro and everybody else moved the exact same way that they're moving now, and then de-age those, and you can be like, did they have like some sort of like arthritis or something wrong with them when they were younger at the time? Like, you know, early onset like Parkinson's or something? I don't know, man. So it's one of those things like there's some things that de-aging could do and cannot do. Because if you de-aged Harrison Ford and put him in Solo, they're gonna be like, well, why is everything so CGI? It's like because he can't fucking move like that anymore, man. Like he just can't. So I don't know. I still don't know the hate on this movie. Like I like the movie. I like the movie. I think it was really nice. So I mean it's just I don't know where you stand. I'm like, you said that you like the movie, but what didn't you like about the movie?
All right. Well, I normally do this at the end,
but I'll start now.
All right, so I'll start with things that I think kind of hurt the movie. If
you get towards the beginning of the movie, or yeah, they have the whole train heist kind of thing with a coaxium.
Okay.
And they're there, and they're fighting over the coaxium.
Mm-hmm.
They take that one little container part of it off, and they're flying off with it. They're fighting over it. The train falls. Okay. But then, this is something minor, but I was thinking about it when I was watching it. Then they have the one container that they're taking. They're fighting over it, and they both end up letting it go, and the thing falls and it explodes and takes out half a mountain.
Right.
Explain to me why it didn't happen with the train. Nothing happened there. It just fell. Nothing blew up. Just fell.
So nothing happened on the train. Like the train didn't
blow up. No, it just fell.
I mean, it's just. I mean, like it's the same way as if, let's just say, like if a semi truck were to rear end a Bronco, a Ford Bronco, nothing happens to the semi truck. Everything happens.
A semi truck that's carrying like basically.
Well, you gotta have
fuel.
Well, you gotta have to look at it from the physics part of it too, right? You gotta have to like look at it from the physics.
My guess is that they're like, it happened off screen, even though you clearly see it.
It's one of those things. Like, what would happen when an unstoppable force hits an immovable object? You know,
nothing.
But you know what that means. You know what happens, right?
Yeah, nothing. Nothing happens.
No, there's an actual answer to that. You know that, right?
I don't know. If they meet, nothing's happening. They're just staying in one spot.
No, when the unstoppable force meets an immovable object, it implodes. That's basically what it is. It's implosion.
Well, the train did not implode.
No,
the container did.
No. It's so I can't put science into it because one, I don't know the science to that. I'm sure there's a reason why there's nothing that happened on the train.
Save money. They didn't have to show the effect.
I guess so. I guess so.
Okay, and then the other thing that I thought was kind of like about it was the whole Infus Nest actually being a little girl
Mhm.
that's realistically the hero. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, I should have seen this one coming.
right.
It was basically something that happens every day, but I was like, yeah, Disney won't do that.
Here's what I will ask you though, and I will ask everybody this too as well. What's the difference between Andor and Solo? Not the show, not the show, and not the movie. The character. What's the difference between Andor and Solo? That's my that's something.
Nothing really,
Nothing, right?
except well, no, one lives longer. We'll put it
Mhm.
that way.
So, so this is my question. What is the point of the Solo TV show? I still hate that. I still hate the show,
I
man.
mean, Andor.
Andor, yeah. What's the point of the TV show, man? What's the point of the TV show? I still hate it. I still hate it.
Just to get us more
I just
Star Wars. That's it.
I just wanted to
But
put it out.
I think that's the reason why. If Solo would have been more liked, they would have done Solo too. Instead, they said,
I
"You know what? We're going to give you what you don't want, and we're going to give you Andor because you didn't want another
consider
Solo.
what
That's why. So this is what you get."
So they're thinking they're like, wait a minute, if you don't like something that you wanted, we'll give you something you don't want so that you'll like it. Yeah, that actually
There
makes
you go.
sense.
See,
Yeah, no,
Disney said,
I'm not fucking disagreeing with you. That is the Star Wars fan base logic right there, man. That's the most that is the most logical sound sentence I've ever heard about a fan base ever.
"There you go." And
give
then
them something they don't like, they'll love it. They give them something that they want, they don't like it. I get it. Yeah, I see it.
the other thing, the last thing I didn't like about the movie, which isn't really that bad, but how Solo gets his name. The guy's just like, "What's your last name?" It's like, "I don't have one," or "What's your family?" or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have one. He's like, "Oh, Solo. Oh." It couldn't have just been his name. And they're just like, "No, we gotta give it to him."
So he didn't have a last name, and
Well, I mean, he obviously did, but I think he
well,
was just kind
yeah,
of like, "Yeah."
yeah, he didn't like. I bet you it's like Rodriguez.
I didn't know you were Hispanic. What's Hispanic? I don't know what that is. I'm from outer space. I don't
His name was Han Rodriguez.
know.
That's that's why he's like, that
I
doesn't
mean, he looks
sound
like a
right.
Rodriguez.
He could be a Rodriguez, yeah, like Hans Rodriguez, but you have to say it with an accent. They're like, oh,
Yes.
what's your name, Han? What's your last name, Rodriguez?
And then then he's gonna be like to the guy in the movie. He's gonna be like, my my name is Han Rodriguez. I killed my father.
Or
Prepare to die.
Montoya, Han
Indigo
Montoya.
Montoya.
What's your
Killed
name,
my father.
Montoya?
Prepare to die.
Hans Montoya. Oh my god, it's like it's almost like if we didn't see episode 9. Well, wait, hold on, what came first, episode 9 or Solo?
Solo, because it went 7,
Uh-huh.
Rogue One,
Mhm.
8, Solo, and then 9.
Fuck, so you telling me that Ron Howard tried to warn us what's gonna happen? He tried to warn us what's gonna happen in the ending of episode 9, but we
He
didn't
tried.
listen
He
because
didn't listen.
she didn't have a last name, right?
No.
Ray didn't have a last name. Ray's
No.
last name could have been
Well, technically it was Palpatine, but technically
yeah.
that's still horrible.
So she didn't like it. So she didn't like it. She could have said any last name. It could have been.
Well, no. Her blood, quote unquote, is Palpatine, but her pseudo name that she takes after her master's is Skywalker. Even though everybody hated that, and I get it, but still, that's a different movie for a different time.
What if her last name was like Wazowski or something?
Wazowski.
Ray Wazowski.
Or what about Montoya? My name is Ray
It's like, what is your name? Ray. Yeah. It's like, what's your name? Ray. Ray what? Wazowski. I would have been happy with that, man. I would have been very happy with that.
I think it would have been funnier if you went What's your name? Ray. Ray what? Mario. What?
Ray
I
Mario.
mean, what's your last name? Or what's your middle name? Mario. What? Ray Mario Mario. You never seen the Mario movie? What's your name?
Yeah.
Luigi. Luigi what? Mario. No, your middle name. Luigi Mario Mario.
Oh my god. I I I
The
mean,
90s one.
this is like this breaking down of this episode, this movie is like the easiest thing to break down because it's just so easy to like find the flaws versus finding out what is actually good about the movie. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that it's hard to find what's good about the movie. I can say a bunch of things that's good about the movie.
Most of the movie is good.
Yeah, the most of the movie is good, but it's just that it's really nice to just nitpick all the horrible part, like the
Yes.
acting.
The acting in this movie wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, Childish Gambino just played him. I don't know, man.
No,
I
I
don't know.
liked him. In certain parts, he sounded to me exactly like Lando. I mean, like Billy D. Williams. Certain parts, I'm like,
Mhm.
man, is that Billy D. Williams or is that him? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny part too is that it carried on to the comic books too as well.
Yep.
Yeah, his character played onto the comic book too as well. Now, if you read the comic books and then you look at Lando, you're just like, fuck, it's like it doesn't match up, man. It just doesn't match up. So it's it's easy to break down this movie, but here's my theory on it. Here's my conspiracy theory on it. Uh, they had a director for this movie, but they need a director that carries a name, so they asked Ron Howard, right?
Yeah.
I think that Ron Howard did it so that his daughter could have an in Star Wars.
I
I mean,
mean, she technically already would have because Ron Howard did.
but here's the
Didn't he
thing.
do Willow? No, he did
No,
something. I think he did Willow.
but here's the thing. I will have to alliterate this. Okay, I'm not saying that Bryce Dallas Howard is not a not a good director. She's a fucking fantastic director, in my opinion. Give her a fucking trilogy, man. Like she should handle like the next 3 Star Wars. That's just my opinion at it. I just feel that her talent wasn't showing because no one was giving her that chance. And by Ron Howard doing this movie, it gave her an in. And then all of a sudden, people are just like, "Oh man, she's a really good director." Yeah, no shit. You guys just weren't giving her a chance. Does that make sense? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if that conspiracy theory is actually hold true, but there are circumstances and circumstances in business that actually happens. Euphemism is actually a real thing.
I mean nepotism.
Nepotism, sorry, not euphemism. I apologize. Thank you. Nepotism is actually a real thing, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's not really bad. It's only bad when you have like that track and field person from Kuwait or Iraq, was it? Did you see that news?
Nope.
So apparently one of the committee for I think Iraq or Kuwait for the Olympics, he his goddaughter was trying to try out for the Olympics, right? So obviously he's in the decision making, so there's your nepotism in there, right?
Yeah.
Got her in, but then when she went for the qualifying match, right? And mind you, this is a 100 dash, like 100-meter dash, right? And you gotta watch the video because she just looks horrible. You're just like, this is what is this? And then they found out that there was a nepotism and then all that stuff happening in there. That's when nepotism was actually really bad. When you use it for something that horrible, you knew that your goddaughter sucks, but you still had to like do
Got her
that.
in anyway.
Yeah, you still had to run anyway, right? So that's when the nepotism was actually bad. But the good part of nepotism is what happened to Bryce Dallas Howard's, right?
So I think it's fine. I mean, I don't think she's anything really special, to be honest. I think
How dare
I
you?
think I think the first episode of Mandalorian she directed was meh, in my opinion, but the other episodes have been pretty good.
How dare
So,
you? How
but
dare you?
everybody has a good day and everybody has a bad day. So
She is a fantastic fucking director.
I
Fantastic. She has a right balance of putting female empowerment and not over exaggerating it. Does that make sense?
Exactly, because at least it's better than seeing her run in heels in a Jurassic Park movie.
By the way, which is like her idea anyway. She's like, I'm gonna run in heels. I don't care. That's what she said. That's what she said. That was her idea. But what I'm saying is that there's some directors in there that wants to portray a lot of like female empowerment and all that stuff, but they overdo it and people kind of hated it. The way that she does it, she does it in a way that people, casual viewers wouldn't notice it, but people who kind of overanalyze things like I do when I watch a movie, you kind of notice it, but then you kind of just go, okay, it's done in a way that's kind of, it's really nice,
Yeah.
right? And plus, in the way that she puts humor in, it's perfect. It's never like in misplace. Does that make sense? Like in like Josh Whedon when he did Avengers, the humor that he puts in is always misplaced, and you're just like, yeah, it's funny, but is it really necessary? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? When the way that she does it, and I just think that she should give her fucking the trilogy, man.
Give her a movie.
Yeah, just I was hoping that she would have done Ahsoka Tano, the whole thing.
I mean,
the whole Ahsoka Tano. What did you think about people saying that Emilia Clarke's character was unnecessary in this movie?
I didn't know they said that.
No,
yeah, but no, I liked it. It showed Han was more than just scoundrel. It showed that there was love before, even though if you read the comics,
right.
he's
Well, because the reason why is
been around.
that people were saying is that if you actually play Solo and you take her whole character arc in there, that's the movie. Like you don't, they're saying that you don't really need her. Like, what do you need her there for?
Well, that was his motivation to get going. His whole motivation was to get money, get them off the planet, and live happily ever after together.
Yeah,
And
but if you take that whole thing out, it would still been a Solo movie.
I mean,
It's almost the same thing as if you were to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark with Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You don't really need Indiana Jones in that movie at all. Everything would have still played out the exact same way.
yeah, but then it wouldn't be Indiana Jones.
No, I'm just saying they just don't need him, right?
Yeah.
So that's why what people are saying about Emilia Clarke. But I think that,
well, then again, if you didn't have her, you wouldn't have the bigger arc with Crimson Dawn later on with
but
the
did you really
Crimson
need?
Reign.
Oh, Crimson Reign. Yeah, I guess so. But it seems like the Crimson Reign story arc was just there because they kind of just expanded with her role in there.
Which makes you wonder, because I haven't read that arc. Like, I don't know if she lives or dies after that. It's like, are they going to bring her back and maybe Ahsoka?
Yeah, I mean,
Eat her up a bit.
this is my hope to it. Okay, this is my hope to it. My hope is that when they showed Darth Maul at the end, right? I was hoping that they were gonna do something with it, but it seems like they never did.
Well, technically, if you watch the shows, you know where he's come and gone to. But yeah, I think that whole thing was a setup for Solo 2, which all the haters made that not happen, and we got Andor because of it.
and not even that. I'm this is that just with Ahsoka Tano coming out, this is my big hope on Ahsoka Tano, but I guess it's not gonna happen anymore. So I guess it's not a hope, but this is what the storyline that I hoped that it was going to be before they reveal what it was going to. I was hoping that they would connect Ahsoka Tano with the ending of Solo, and there would be a Darth Maul Ahsoka somewhere storyline.
I think there is.
Right.
I remember seeing. Well, no, man. I think it was when they first started filming. Like a picture came out where she was fighting Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe this is gonna start. I think there's gonna be a couple like cuts and flashbacks that we're obviously gonna see Hayden Christensen and her together from the Clone Wars. So I think that
I don't know. He looks kind of oldish.
I mean, they did the same thing with and Obi-Wan. He still looked kind of old, but they did a little touch up on him.
But Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying because the
But
way
I
I
think
because the
they're
way
going to do it.
yeah, because the way that I interpreted Obi-Wan when they met up when they met up when they have like the scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin, the way that I interpreted it is that it's somewhere along the line where he's getting older, but not quite old. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
Like
no,
they just
I
put it somewhere there. That's why he looks kind of oldish. That's why that's why they didn't touch him up and put CG on his face. I mean, obviously they did it with Ewan McGregor. I mean, like he looks a lot younger in that scene.
yeah.
But I think they're gonna show it in a way where he was kind of old. He was kind of oldish, and they meet up because what's his name already came out and said it. The creator of Star Wars Clone Wars. What's his name?
Dave Filoni. I didn't forget
They,
it this time.
they shouldn't, man. You shouldn't. Dave Filoni. He already came out and said, "Yeah, this is actually technically Rebels." That's what he said.
Yeah. Well,
He already said this is technically Rebels. So essentially,
it's
at some
technically
point,
another season of Rebels. Yeah.
yeah, that's what he said. This is technically Rebels. So I'm like, okay, then somewhere along the line, this is where Rebels it takes place in Rebels. So that means at some point in time, Nate, we have to actually review Rebels and then go back to Ahsoka and input Ahsoka somewhere in Rebels.
Well,
Does that make sense?
From what I could tell from the trailer and like the thing with Darth Maul, I think they're gonna start where Rebels ended. They're gonna start where they showed where that ended.
Wait, which one? Which one? Where she walked away?
Where she in Rebels she talks to Sabine on what's it, Ezra's planet, and then they fly off because they showed in the trailer that exact same scene again.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna just start from that point and then go on to like where we are now. Or
That would be
like
so
I think it's literally gonna be a progression up to at least maybe the first 2 episodes will kind of be
I did
backtracking.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to where we are now in the timeline. But
I did not notice that. If they start that show from where Rebels ended, oh, I have to like wipe my screen off. I'm like, oh,
like,
just all over my screen.
I don't know for sure, but that's what I was assuming that they were
because that would be a nice transition. Because for everybody who don't remember, the ending of Rebels was when Ahsoka was just walking away and she had like the trench coat on and all that stuff, and then did she leave her lightsaber there? No, right? I don't remember.
So. I think she had them.
She had it with her, so she was walking away. But there's a scene there where it kind of cut into black, and then they just kind of focus in her walking away. If that was the scene, and then at the beginning of Ahsoka, it just translates from animation to live
action.
Live action. Oh,
that'd be kind of cool.
All over my screen, dude. I have to wipe my screen off that day. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Like, for a fact, if that ever happens, in that few seconds of introduction to Ahsoka, it just cemented itself as the best Star Wars Disney Plus series ever. Like
until the next best Disney Plus series.
Like how, man? How? Like
get Luke Skywalker series. No, they won't do that. He's too old.
You know what we should do next time? Or we should add on to after Ahsoka is that we should do a what if. Like literally just do a what if. Star Wars what if. No, just think about it. Just think about this, okay? Just hear me out, okay? Before we end the show, just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. Just think about what if Luke Skywalker saved Darth Vader.
I mean,
he didn't die.
Technically, he did.
No. Like
technically,
alive.
Like, what if Darth Vader lived?
If Darth Vader lived, okay. What if Darth Vader lived? That'd be fucking amazing.
Really, because in real life, he'd have to answer for all of his crimes.
Yeah, exactly. That is this fucking story. He has to answer for all those crimes. So essentially, he'll probably go into like isolation and all that stuff. He can fucking teach Luke all like it's just if you look at the trilogy 1 to 3 is his ascension to darkness, right? And then the What If series will be his ascension to forgiveness and to redemption. That'd be fucking amazing.
How can I don't know if he could be.
That's amazing. Like just think of it. Just think of it really hard. At the end of the Return of the Jedi, fucking saved them, right? Fucking saved them and everything. But Luke never told anybody that Darth Vader was alive, right? And he spends his days literally just repenting everything that he has done throughout those years with him and his son. And the only one who knew about him being alive is him, his son, and Leia. And that's it. And those three never said anything about to anybody, right? The rebels actually just flourish and all that stuff. All those things are happening. And then you insert your fucking Thrawn in there. Just fucking think about that. Okay, we're gonna go deep on this shit, man. Right. I think we should do a What If series, man. Star Wars What If. Man.
I agree.
Because there is no Star Wars What If, right? There's no Star Wars What If.
Technically, it's Star Wars Visions, if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess so. Star Wars Legends is no, but if there's
Visions, not Legends.
Oh, okay. No, I think that there should be a Star Wars What If. Fuck it. This is what we're gonna do, Nate. We're gonna plan on how to do Star Wars What If, and then we're gonna trademark the name Star Wars What If
before Disney
what
does.
Before Disney does, and then Disney gonna be like, "Yo, you can't fucking use Star Wars. That's already trademarked." I'm like, "All right, that's fine, but the What If series, that's our shit. You have to pay us, and then we can get like fucking executive producing money and shit."
I still don't think that's how that works, but yes, we could definitely try.
we're gonna do the fucking boss logic in here, right? Boss logic just one day says, you know who would be a good Ahsoka Tano? Fucking Rose. What's her fucking name again? Not Rose. Fucking what's her name? Who plays Ahsoka Tano?
Why do you keep doing this to me? I feel like you dumbed me down and I can't remember names.
I said Rose.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson, right? So just like fucking just Boss Logic the whole thing. You know, one day Boss Logic just fucking woke up and said, you know who's a perfect Ahsoka Tano? Fucking Rosario Dawson. And then posted it, and then Disney's like,
You're right.
All right. And then all of a sudden, Rosario Dawson is doing this whole Ahsoka Tano fucking tour, and they're like, "When did you first decide that you want to do this?" Well, you know, Boss Logic. Like that's literally what she said on those tours. She said they asked her, "I'm like, when did you want to get into like Star Wars?" And they're like, "Well, there was a post by Boss Logic." Like Boss Logic's name just fucking dropped, right? But I have a funny story with Boss Logic. I'll tell you that later on.
I want to say, because we didn't talk much about this show.
So because that's the thing. We've said this. I've said this earlier already. This show, this movie is so easy to pick on what are the good, what on the bad stuff, versus what are the good stuff in here. Like, what else can you say about this movie that it wasn't already said at all? Like it was an explanation of everything that was being said throughout the whole trilogy, and they just kind of showed you what it was. The parsets, the way that he won the Millennium Falcon, fucking Chewie and all that shit. No, I mean,
yeah, we did see how Chewie and him met.
Yeah, see, it just literally just this is the easiest breakdown of this part of our podcast. It's because this movie is just so easy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you have some sort of like in-depth breakdown of this? That's why.
I mean, yes and no.
See, I told you, man. Like,
but like things that I liked, like I really liked Woody Harrelson's Beckett. I thought he was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really liked his character. I did like the whole Kessel Run Parsec thing. That was funny in itself, because even in episode 7, you see him like race, like, oh, this is the Millennium Falcon. It made the Kessel Run like 14 parsecs, and he's like 12. He gets upset.
He rounded it down.
Yeah. And then the coolest part was probably the part you love the most, which was Darth Maul just showing up at the end. Even I was like, oh my god. What?
He's alive. Yeah, because that's the first time that people
Like,
found out that he's still alive.
I mean, well, in live action form. Like if you
Yeah,
watch Rebels and Rogue One, I mean Rogue
yeah,
One, wow, Rebels and Clone
mhm,
Wars, you know that he's still alive.
yeah. So that was like the first time, and the fact that Sam Witwer that's voicing him
He
too
voiced him too.
as well, right? So that's uh, they will not give Ray Park the honor of actually voicing the character that he actually portrayed, man.
Yep. I don't
That he
think he
helped portray.
cares. I think he just cares about the paycheck.
Oh my god, that's too funny. But that's our breakdown for Solo. Unless you have something to add on, Nate.
No, I pretty much was able to say what I wanted to say.
Again, man,
Yes,
it's not this
it's
isn't
easy.
it's not something that's like really in depth that you have to go through with this movie. I mean, it's just it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like to me, it seems like Disney's like, listen, guys, tax season is coming. We need to burn like $150 million. What the fuck are we gonna do? I don't know.
Make
Solo.
make a movie about scoundrels and aliens and droids and ships and stars and wars.
they
There
had
you go.
they had to burn 150 before they get taxed on it, so they just fucking made Solo.
And let's get
That's
Ron Howard.
Let's
yeah.
do it.
Like, how much is Ron Howard? 50 mil. Okay, that well, now we're down to 100 mil, guys. Well, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Come on, let's go, man. So it just seems like that was the case. The same thing with like Batgirl. Is supposed to be a write off too as well. So it's just it is what it is. That's what this movie is. It is what it is.
So are you saying that essentially Batgirl saved Warner Brothers?
They saved them what, like $90 million or something around, or 100 million, something around there, right? But yeah, that's our analysis of Solo. It sucks because this is like this is the last movie that we're gonna analyze for breaking episodes before Ahsoka Tano takes over. Just again, you guys, a reminder, next week we are going to be going on a 7-week run of Ahsoka Tano, Breaking the Jedi. We're going to be reviewing the show right after. It's kind of like an after show kind of stuff, I guess. It's going to be up, at least on my part, it's going to be up every Thursday. Nate is going to be up until Fridays, right? So we're taking a 7-week break on Star Wars breaking episodes. We are going to be continuing with Ahsoka Tano, Breaking the Jedi. Every single one of them, we're going to be analyzing what's going on with Ahsoka Tano. But in my prediction, we're just going to fanboy the shit out of that thing weekly. But I'm going to try really hard to find something wrong with that show. And I have so much hope for the show. And I don't
Which
think
you have no problem with. It seems like you find something wrong in everything.
yeah. So I mean, I try to find something wrong with everything anyways, though. So not the world is not always
If you want controversy, Tim's got it.
the world is not rainbows and daisies and roses all the time, man. Sometimes you got to face facts, man. So yes, so that's what we're gonna be doing next week, starting with Ahsoka Tano there. Again, guys, if you can, please check out my Patreon there, patreon.com/uncensored nerds. There is a different tiers in there that you guys can choose from. It's really great. It's something that I've been planning for a long time, and I believe that you guys are going to really like it. So again, that's patreon.com/uncensored nerds. And the website is coming along fine too as well, guys. I know the website has been down for a while because it's been renovation, but we have secured a domain name already. The uncensorednerds.com is our new domain name, so you can find that now too as well. Nate, anything last words in there?
Yes, of course. I always have some last words. It might not be the wisest or best, but I have some. So assume everyone will betray you, and you won't be disappointed.
I like that, man. I
That
like
was
that.
Beckett. That was Beckett.
I like it. I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot. I always end all my shows with the immortal words from Jay-Z. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you guys are here with us. I appreciate that. Thank you for spending your time, guys. We'll see you next week.